A chilling tale of Tina, a waitress haunted for 3 nights in a creepy Ohio diner. Dare to read on. In the summer of 2011, Tina, a young woman from rural Indiana, packed her bags and moved to a small town in Ohio to start a new job. She'd landed a gig as a waitress at Joe's Diner, a greasy spoon tucked behind the local football stadium. The diner was a bustling spot during the day, serving burgers and milkshakes to truckers and locals. But at night, it took on an eerie quiet. The owners offered cheap housing for staff in an old 5-story building out back. A relic from the 1970s that had once been a budget motel. The ground floor and second floor housed the diner and storage, while the upper floors were converted into cramped apartments. Tina was assigned a room on the 5th floor, sharing the level with just one other coworker, Danny, who lived in a separate unit down the hall. The building was a mess. Narrow hallways lit by flickering fluorescent bulbs, peeling wallpaper, and a faint, musty smell that clung to everything. Tina's room was no better. A single bed, a rickety dresser, and a window that rattled in the wind. Dust coated the corners, and bits of drywall littered the floor from some half-finished renovation. She worked late shifts, from evening until nearly 2 a.m., so her routine was to crash in the early hours and sleep until mid-afternoon. Night 1. Exhausted from her long bus ride to Ohio, Tina arrived at her room past midnight. Before unpacking, she stood at the door, clasped her hands, and whispered a quick prayer, a habit from her church-going days back home. Lord, please watch over me in this new place. I'm just here to work and send money home. She collapsed onto the bed, too tired to even change. As she drifted off, a low whisper jolted her awake. Did you lock the door? The voice was so close. It felt like someone was leaning over her. Heart pounding, she scrambled to the door and checked the lock. To her shock, it was unlatched, though she could have sworn she'd locked it, shaking it off as nerves. She double-checked the bolt and crawled back into bed, convincing herself it was just her imagination, or maybe a guardian angel looking out for her. Night 2. The next night, Tina fell into a restless sleep after another long shift. In her dream, a man stood outside her door, rattling the handle. He was short, bald, and shirtless, his skin blotchy and peeling like he'd suffered from some awful disease. His eyes locked on hers through the door's peephole as he pushed harder, trying to force his way in. Tina braced herself against the door, her muscles burning as she fought to keep it shut. She woke up gasping, drenched in sweat, her body aching like she'd been wrestling for hours. The dream felt too real, unlike any she'd had before, where the setting was usually vague. This time, it was her room, down to the cracked paint on the walls. At the diner the next day, Tina mentioned the dream to Sarah, a chatty coworker who'd been there for years. When Tina described the man, Sarah's face paled. Wait, a short, bald guy with bad skin? She asked. Tina nodded, uneasy. Sarah leaned in, lowering her voice. You've seen him already. Huh, that sounds like Frank, a guy who lived in the building next door. Creepy dude. He died just a few days ago, some kind of skin condition. Don't tell anyone I said that. She hurried off to clear tables, leaving Tina with a chill creeping up her spine. Night 3. That night, Tina couldn't shake the unease from Sarah's words. She lay in bed, clutching her rosary, trying to calm her nerves. As she hovered on the edge of sleep, a faint voice broke through. Mommy, can I stay with you? Mommy, please. The words repeated, soft but insistent, like a child's plea. Tina's eyes snapped open. At the foot of her bed sat a boy, no older than 6, his skin pale and his limbs unnaturally thin, like he'd been starved or sick. His hollow eyes stared at her as he started crawling toward her, dragging his frail body across the mattress. Mommy, I want to stay. Tina yanked the blanket over her head, her heart hammering. She muttered every prayer she knew, but the air grew colder, heavier, like something was pressing down on her chest. The voice kept whispering, closer now. Mommy, please. Unable to take it, she screamed, her voice echoing in the empty building. Moments later, Danny pounded on her door, shouting, Tina, you okay? What's going on? Trembling, She opened the door, and the oppressive feeling vanished. The boy was gone. She grabbed her things and begged to stay in Danny's room for the night. Still shaken, she told him what she'd seen. Danny's face darkened, and he sat quietly for a long moment before speaking. That might be my kid, he said, barely audible. I never told anyone, but my ex had a miscarriage a few years back. I've seen him too, in this building. Don't tell anyone, okay? Tina's blood ran cold. 3 nights in a row. She'd been haunted, first by a whisper, then by a dead man, and now by a child who never had a chance to live. Aftermath. After that 3rd night, Tina couldn't bear to sleep in her room at night anymore. She'd linger at the diner after her shifts, sipping coffee until dawn, or hang out at a 24-hour cafe nearby, only returning to her room in the morning light to catch a few hours of sleep before her next shift. The building's oppressive air never left her, and she felt eyes watching her every time she climbed the stairs. She stuck it out for 4 months, saving every penny to send home. But the constant dread was too much. One day, she packed her bags and quit, leaving Joe's diner and its haunted rooms behind for good.